Last but not least, we have Vincent Palmieri from Brick Township, New Jersey. Vincent's story is all about communication. After Superstorm Sandy, Brick set out to change how they connect with residents about flood risk. And he'll show how Forerunner has helped them turn outreach into action.
All right. Thank you, Michelle. Can you hear me all right?
Can hear you great.
Awesome. Okay. So hello, everyone. My name is Vincent Palmieri. I'm a planning analyst for the Township of Brick in New Jersey. Like many coastal communities, Brick is no stranger to flood risk, and with more privately owned waterfront properties than any other municipality in the state of New Jersey, Brick, you could tell that Brick, may have some issues that we've had in previous years. So after Superstorm Sandy, back in October of 2012, which was before my time as an employee, but more so as a resident, our municipality realized that managing risk wasn't just about rebuilding, but about rethinking how we support and communicate with our residents. So today I'll walk you through how we've transformed our approach to the public outreach and floodplain management with the help of Forerunner, and how it's made a real impact in our community. So when Hurricane Sandy hit, devastation in the township of Brick was enormous. 13,000 properties located in flood zones in total. So that's a massive portion of our community directly exposed to that risk. The storm was exposed just how unprepared we were as well. So with such a disaster at scale, it's really hard to be prepared in those instances. Our residents, of course, you can imagine how overwhelmed they were during that time, and they were confused about flood insurance, what it covered, what it didn't, and they didn't know which rebuilding rules really applied. So, and those rules were changing fast at the time as well. So there was a deep anxiety about the future, and would they be able to rebuild their home? Could they afford to stay in their dwelling, or to keep their property? So our town hall was flooded with not only water, but with calls, questions, and an urgent plea for guidance. So the truth is, we didn't always have the clear answers, but our systems for managing and sharing information weren't built for that kind of crisis. So what we needed was we started to working toward a better, faster, and smarter systems. So we're changing the way we communicate. You can tell on this slide. This was at one of our flood information sessions. We had flood tables at some of our events. This was a local concert, so we're able to communicate with residents on weekends, late hours. So this is just one example I wanted to pull from. But so in response, we knew we couldn't afford to stay reactive, and we had to be proactive for the future. So to prepare our residents before the next storm hit and not respond after. So we got to work, and we began sending out annual flood mailers, which is plain language, practical guidance, and straight to residents' doors. We hosted community events just like you're seeing here, which really brought people together to learn and ask questions and feel comfortable asking questions and connect with some of our experts. We made ourselves more accessible through phone, online tools, and face-to-face outreach. So with even all those steps forward, we hit a wall on the technical side with flood maps, insurance rules, elevation certificates, and mitigation options. So it was hard to explain, but even harder for residents to navigate. So it wasn't just a challenge for the public, it was a struggle to make sense of evolving guidelines and changing codes and shifting federal programs. So we were making progress, but it was clear that we needed better tools and simpler systems and a smarter way to connect with people. So that's where really Forerunner came in. So it was really a game changer for us over the last few years when we started to connect with Forerunner. We've been using it for about 4 years now or so, and it's become absolutely central and essential for how we operate here. With Forerunner, we manage compliance far more efficiently, and we catch potential issues early on before they snowball and become into bigger problems. All of our elevation certificates, more than 100 and counting most years, were stored, reviewed, and organized in one place, and this has made a huge difference, especially when it comes to documenting for CRS review and ISO. So before tracking this information, it really was a maze in a lot of ways, and streamlined. Now it's streamlined, searchable, and really easy to keep updated. So one of my personal favorite tools I'm going to present. I just want to kind of demo really quickly before I head to the next slide. So I'll take a look here if I can share my screen. All right. So this is, you can see here, this is the Township of Brick, and I'm going to head to one property I feel like might make most sense for this example here. So I'm going to go ahead to 1669 Princeton Avenue. So the reason I decided to pick this property, you might be wondering, we have an elevation certificate on this, and we also have conflicting zones. So there's several zones on this piece of property um, as far as the preliminary firm map shows. So we have so many different zones in the Township of Brick, which can be complicated at times, but we can tick from our preliminary firm to our effective, which was, looking back to our records and our files here, we can see our elevation certificate. I'll take a look at this. We'll see we are in an AE zone with a flood depth of 5, so we'll base it off of our effective. And so the map that we'll be using for this instance won't necessarily be our preliminary, but if a new resident were to move into town and to ask more questions, we would be able to provide either pieces of information. So I really feel like using this when speaking to the public, whether it be at a flood information session or even to provide more details to the public, it's been very beneficial for our community. So from there, I also want to show one of the resources we commonly use as well, which is the public-facing portion of Forerunner. So this is something that we share with residents from time to time when they have inquiries and they want to take it upon themselves if they're interested in purchasing a property or possible real estate investments. So this is something that we want to share with our community residents when we're able to. So this is the Forerunner public facing side. We can share with this via a link, and we could also print the page up here in the right hand corner. So it gives some similar information, but also allows us to manage it as well as we can. So this is I would say it's pretty beneficial for us to in terms of communicating with our public facing portions. So from here, just want to speak about how we save some time and build trust within our community. So before Forerunner, answering flood-related questions could just be an onerous task. Sometimes it took hours and cross-checking maps, trying to interpret technical language on the spot. A lot of our engineers internally that are on the call too as well, they are definitely familiar with those type of tasks. And now it takes virtually minutes. So with Forerunner, we can pull up a property's information in a clear, visual, and understandable way. And it makes sense, and it really makes all the difference. So when a resident sees their flood zone, elevation, and key risks clearly laid out, something shifts when we're speaking to them, and they don't feel lost in jargon anymore in technical side. So they feel informed. They feel they're part of the solution, and they're not just subject to it. So we really are trying to help prepare and mitigate risk to make more smarter decisions within our community because of it. So this section of the slides here is community outreach in action. So on an annual basis, what you'll see here is one of our flyers we provide for our community. And one way we attract residents is by holding a flood information session, as I previously spoke about. But what we try to combine that with is a featured film. So we try to attract our residents in by bringing people together to watch a film and understanding the hazards and flood risk that are surrounding our community, whether it be on a local level or a regional level or even national. So on an annual basis in the Township of Brick, we've had success with pairing a featured film with our flood information session. For those new to community flood information sessions, this has been a provided service by our municipality or county, where in this case, the Township of Brick hosts an independent event on a weeknight after hours for all residents, not only ones who are included in flood zones, because some residents could also be impacted by water flooded roadways as well. So they're either unable to reach us during normal hours or working hours, and new residents recently moved into Brick who are interested in inquiring on specific flood zone information can attend this event. So during these sessions, we have our municipal planner, our municipal engineer, some of our engineering staff, and our GIS specialist on hand, so we can really assist in educating the public on the flood hazards and upcoming projects in the area. Our flood information session takes place before the film, and we hold a Q&A session during the film and afterwards on flood risk and insurance. So in 2023, we featured a film that was localized. It was called Drift. It was won Best New Jersey Film at the Independent Street Film Festival. That was a really specific to the Township of Brick in Ocean County. That was directed by a local nonprofit, Save Barnegat Bay, explaining the history of our area and the flood hazards that have occurred in recent years. In 2024, we featured a film called Last House Standing, which is more regional and actually national and maybe in some ways international, showing different hazards throughout the country. And that was presented by New Jersey Association of Floodplain Managers, focused on climate-related dangers and building codes and how they've adopted and adapted to new conditions. So this year we feature a film, Before the Flood, which is with Leonardo DiCaprio, and that's more accessible documentary. So I would definitely recommend that for if you have an event in your community. So what's changed since Forerunner? Has allowed us to be more effective and efficient in our daily routine. It has given us the tools to review to the next level. So since having Forerunner in our community, we've been able to submit our CRS 310 activity, which is our primary focus on elevation certificates, with over a 90% rating for 4 consecutive years. So our CRS workflows are helping us maintain a Class 5 rating, and those savings pass directly to our residents. Our Class 5 rating provides a 25% discount, as many of you know, on premiums for properties within a special flood hazard area. And for more importantly, it keeps us residents informed. So I'll move on to my last slide here. And floodplain management isn't just about data compliance. It's really about people. So it's about helping someone feel like less overwhelmed, especially residents and folks within your community, maybe residents that have just moved into your community. So being more prepared helps us, allows us to be more cognizant of the ability to communicate with those residents. So with the tools Forerunner provides us and supports us with, we're not just managing risk, but we're building a stronger connection between local government and our community. And that's what resiliency really looks like. So I have this picture here. Obviously, you could say it's pretty magnifying of what we come through, and we see in different areas and the hazards. So with that, I guess I'm pretty much it. That's all I have.
That was a great presentation. Thanks so much, Vin. And I look forward to watching those films. Thank you all so much for joining, and a huge, huge thank you to our speakers for sharing such thoughtful and powerful stories. What you heard today highlights just how creative and committed local governments are when it comes to tackling challenges head on, whether it's scaling quickly after a storm or rethinking community outreach. These stories show what's possible with the right tools and partnerships in place.